Hi, it's John Paul, and in this lesson, I'm going to show you the biggest obstacles I've observed that hold many businesses back from reaching their potential in attracting new customers, satisfying existing customers, and making more sales that lead to profits for the business. In the last lesson, I showed you the simple formula that most successful businesses use to consistently improve and boost their sales. But in my experience with my clients and students, many entrepreneurs who know this simple formula are still unable to grow their company's sales. As a consultant, this was really confusing to me at first until I discovered the real obstacles that were holding back these entrepreneurs. You see, there are two tracks to success in sales. The first track is the mechanics of sales, and the other is the mindset of sales. The mechanics of sales are the technical and logical knowledge, the skills and the strategies you need to boost sales in a business that I'm going to teach you in the advanced course. The mechanics, like the simple formula I showed you in the last lesson, can be applied to any kind of business and you will get results. That's why I consider the mechanics as the outer game of sales. On the other hand, the mindset of sales refers to the psychological skills you need, the mental skills you need to succeed in sales. The mindset applies to the entrepreneur, the salesperson, or the leader of the business and makes up the inner game. So two businesses may have the same sales strategy and techniques and have access to the same knowledge and have access to the same market insights, but it's usually the business that with the entrepreneur or leader with the stronger inner game that eventually wins. So unfortunately, most sales courses and books focus too much on the mechanics of sales, on the data, on the technical aspects of sales, and ignore the mindset aspects. And the truth is, it's always going to be the human being that will be the weakest link in the chain. So that is why the mindset aspects are really important. However, one thing is clear: the mindset and the mechanics of sales go hand in hand. If you're weak in one of them, you're still going to fail. So you need to pay very close attention to the things I'm going to teach you in this lesson. Over the next few minutes, I'll be introducing you to the 10 biggest mindset obstacles that hold back entrepreneurs and salespeople. So, the first is fear. If you're new to sales, this is one of the biggest obstacles you're likely to face, because selling often requires you to step out of your comfort zone. It's natural for you to feel fear, and that's why many people are unwilling to step out of their comfort zone. The biggest fears that stand in the way of sales are usually the fear of rejection, the fear of disappointment, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of failure, and the fear of the unknown. The second obstacle is the ego or a superiority complex, and there are different ways this can get in the way of sales. Some people think it's beneath them to sell. To some people, selling feels like begging. Another way ego comes into selling is when you feel you know more than your leads and your customers because you are closer to your business or because you actually built the product yourself. As a result, you tend to talk more about you tend to talk more than your leads and your customers when you should actually be listening to them. Now, ego can show up when we refuse or avoid customer feedback because we feel the customers don't know what they're talking about. In my experience, this kind of behavior is quite common with entrepreneurs and business people who have a strong technical background. The third mindset obstacle is low self-confidence. Now, you may be confident as a person, but when it comes to the time to sell, you may start to feel that you lack the confidence, or you may start to feel that there is some kind of lessening in your self-esteem. And this is a common psychological problem which comes from a lack of belief in yourself or the product or service you're selling. People with this problem are intimidated by potential customers, and their low confidence affects everything from their ability to sell to the ability to properly price their product or service and how they communicate the value of the product to potential customers. In my experience, it is difficult and sometimes almost impossible to sell something you really don't believe in. So if you're selling something you don't believe in, you are totally undermining yourself. The fourth mindset obstacle or challenge is the lone wolf syndrome. Now, this is a common behavior, common challenge among entrepreneurs who are trying to do all the selling by themselves and fail to build systems and groom salespeople to increase the volume of sales the business can actually do. So remember, no matter how good you are in sales, there is a limit to how much sales you can personally do. Every human being has only 24 hours in a day. The only way to consistently generate more sales than other businesses is to build systems that never sleep, or develop a team of salespeople that you can leverage. And inside the advanced course, I'm going to show you how to build strong and dependable sales systems that can help to bring in consistent sales. The fifth mindset challenge is what I like to call the conqueror syndrome. Now, this is a behavior that typically happens when a business ignores or abandons its existing customers because it is too focused on attracting new customers. Entrepreneurs that face this obstacle are too blind to see the enormous value in the customers they already have. That's why they focus more on conquering new sales. So remember, the cost of getting new customers is significantly higher than the cost of keeping existing customers. The conqueror syndrome commonly leads to flat sales or falling sales as unappreciated customers leave the business and move over to the competition. The sixth psychological obstacle is perfection. This is one of the sneakiest mindset problems I notice with entrepreneurs and founders of businesses. Some of them tend to wait to build the perfect product or service, or have the perfect office or the perfect factory, or have a perfect corporate business before they start selling. They tend to think that customers will not buy unless the product is perfect, and that is totally far from the truth. You have no idea what value is until you put it before your customers. They are the ones who decide if a corporate office is part of the value they consider in paying for your business. You actually have to listen to the customer and not your own impression or your own assumptions of what you think the customer wants. And usually people with this kind of behavior, they tend to have a low belief in their business because it has not yet achieved the standard of perfection they are gunning for. And this tends to affect their confidence. It affects how well they price their products and their ability to sell to potential customers. So these are the people who sometimes describe their business as, when they're talking to a customer, they say, I have this small business, I have this freelancing business. So even before the customer has the chance to evaluate what they're selling, the entrepreneur or the salespeople or the salesperson automatically devalues their product or service because they think it is below their standard of perfection. The seventh psychological obstacle is the people pleaser syndrome. So people with this mindset challenge, they want to sell a product that pleases everyone. They want to be everything to everybody, and they will do anything and bend over backwards to get a customer. The problem with people pleasers is that they often underestimate the value of the product or service they are selling. So they think they need to make it up by trying to appease the customer by any means necessary. And that's why they think they need to be, the all-round solution to every customer's problem. So the consequence of being a people pleaser is that you often become a desperate seller, and that desperation tends to turn off potential customers. The eighth psychological obstacle is complacency. This commonly manifests when the entrepreneur gets carried away by success and fails to plan for future growth, stops attracting and following up with leads and potential customers, and also ignores its existing customers. You see, there is a reason successful companies like Coca-Cola keep advertising their products and keep introducing new products into the market. A complacent entrepreneur stops doing these things that led to success in the first place, and it's only a matter of time before things start to fall apart. So one common reason for complacency is the absence of key indicators and data that show early warning signs of trouble that can jolt the entrepreneur out of complacency. Another psychological obstacle is rigidity. So this is an unwillingness, an inflexibility or stubbornness to re-strategize and change your approach when your sales efforts are not working or yielding the results you expected. So very often, rigidity is the result of the entrepreneur's ego or superiority complex, because they believe they know more than their audience. They believe they know more than the market. They think they know what the market wants more than the market knows. And that often leads to wasting time and not changing and re-strategizing in time before things become too late. So unless you have a gun to people's heads, you really can't force anybody to buy from you. People are going to buy what they want. And that's why you need to be humble and respect the feedback you get from the market, respect the feedback you're getting from your leads as you're trying to sell to them, and respect the feedback you're getting from your customers. If not, you're going to lose them. So rigidity also manifests itself when the entrepreneur refuses or ignores feedback from their leads, from their audience, from the market, from the customers, and especially from their loyal customers. The last psychological obstacle is myopia, or short-sightedness, if you will. This is a behavior that makes the entrepreneur sacrifice long-term sales and growth for short-term benefits. And this is very, very common in business. And this commonly happens when the business owner is too focused on closing the initial sale transaction with a customer instead of building a relationship that will lead to repeated sales and referrals from the customer in the future. So entrepreneurs with this problem hardly ever have loyal customers because they don't focus on building relationships with customers for the long term. Myopia is what happens when your sales are the product of transactions instead of relationships. So you need to invest time in nurturing a relationship. If not, if all you're doing are transactions, there's a limit to the number of customers you can find in the market. And the moment you reach that limit, your business is automatically dead because you cannot find any new customers. So the objective of sales is to play the long game and not focus on the short-term benefit, because yes, your profits may be bigger today, but you're going to pay for that short-sightedness in the future, which is why, as you saw in the formula in the last lesson, it's important to cultivate loyal customers because those will form your base. Every successful company has that base. Apple has it, Coca-Cola has it, Toyota has it. Every successful company cannot do without a base of loyal customers because the size of the market is finite, but the possibilities from loyalty is infinite. So these are the 10 most common mindset obstacles I've noticed that hold entrepreneurs back from winning in sales. Like I said before, it really doesn't matter how good you are in the technical side of sales. It really doesn't matter how advanced you are. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have in sales. It doesn't matter how much experience you've had studying sales or reading books about sales or taking courses about sales. If you don't fix your inner game, if you don't fix the mindset thing, it's going to be really hard to achieve your sales goals. There's a reason why successful salespeople are confident. There's a reason why successful salespeople are very good listeners. There's a good reason why many of the successful salespeople invest in building relationship with customers. All of these things are the silent aspects of success in sales that nobody's teaching in schools. No books are writing about them because somehow it's difficult to teach them. But everybody focuses on the technical part, on the science part of sales. The art of sales is built on the inner game. If you don't fix your inner game, it doesn't matter how many books you read or how many courses you take, nothing is going to change for you in sales. So that's why inside the advanced program, I'll teach you a number of effective ways to deal with any mindset issues you may be struggling with. So in the next lesson, things are going to get very interesting. And that's because in the next lesson, I'm going to introduce you to the most exciting part of this course. I'll be introducing you to the 7 pillars of successful selling. If your business has a sales problem, it's very likely there's something wrong with at least one of the 7 pillars. And you need to find out which of the pillars you're having issues with and then fix it. So as you know, the pillars are the things that hold up a solid structure. And if any of the pillars is defective, then you have a problem. So you don't want to miss the next lesson. But before you go, I need you to do something as usual. scroll down to the comment section below this video and tell me the number one mindset obstacle you're personally struggling with as an entrepreneur when it comes to sales. Is it fear? Is it ego or low self-confidence? Or are you too much of a people pleaser? Or are you a lone wolf who thinks you can do everything yourself, and then it's limiting the potential of your business in terms of growth and capacity? And don't forget to tell me how that mindset is affecting your ability to make sales for your business. And of course, before you leave this page, it's always good to be kind by sharing this video. Share it with your friends, your smart friends, because not everybody is going to devote time to learn. Not everybody is serious enough to learn. And I have no patience with such people. So make sure you only share this with your smart friends and colleagues. Use any of the social media buttons below this video to share this knowledge with someone you know who could improve their business with this knowledge. Maybe they're trying to start a business and they need to sell themselves to investors, or attract their first few customers. Maybe they've been in business for a while, but then things are not looking so good, and then they need to turn around the business, and then they need to work on sales. It really doesn't matter. Share this on people share a lot of crazy things, but then this is something that's actually helpful, that can impact somebody's lives and impact people's lives, and then they will be thankful to you for it. So don't forget to share this lesson, this course, and of course, see you in the next lesson. Bye bye.